Beer on the Run podcast.
Beer on the Run podcast.
This is what you need. You don't even know you need it, but you need it. Trust me.
You need this in your life.
This in your life.
Thursday is Sloppy Moose.
Strange. Okay. All right.
So we have a slushy machine and we make Fireball a slushy.
Let's talk about tacos.
I'm like more the wild card.
I could do a naked beer mile.
I really enjoy doing this. I have a Jameson barrel aged in IPA, so they did a 180 on us. It's not, you can't taste IPA at all. I mean, just like
just get Irish whiskey.
It's just Irish whiskey, but looks good that it says barrel aged in IPA. So
there you go. So you guys have your beers?
We have our beers.
So this beer, my wife says that they used my physique for the logo.
for the hopsquatch?
Yeah, big hairy guy.
I'm digging the hopsquatch logo though. I was checking out the website and
it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm into that. All right, so before we start drinking beer, since we're doing this recording on St. Patrick's Day, we'll all have a shot together and an Irish toast. May the good Lord take a liking to you, but not too soon. Happy St. Patty's Day, guy.
Hey,
Cheers.
Cheers.
And this is why I drink beer. Woo!
Hey Jeff, I love doing these kind of cold opens where, we just start into the conversation, but I do need you to introduce yourself so people know who we're talking to.
Okay. So Jeff Genova. I live in Holland, Michigan. I'm the general manager of Big Lake Brewing, and I've been a sports photographer for 15 plus years. Got started doing that actually at Western States. I asked Lewis if I could shoot with him, and he's like, "No, I'm El Coyote, the lone wolf. I shoot alone." And so I followed him around a little bit, kind of to see where he was going. I had Tim Tweetmeyer had given me a pass to all access press pass to take pictures because I was taking pictures for Ultra Running Magazine. And I took a picture of Lewis taking pictures of runners, and he was like, "Wow, that's really cool," when I sent it to him at the end. So he was pretty happy with that. And from then on, I've taken race photography and actually got to do travel photography all over the world, which is super cool. And I've run at least a marathon distance on 4 continents. So I've been around and done a lot of stuff, and now I live in Holland, Michigan, and don't really go anywhere, which isn't a bad thing. I traveled a whole lot, and now I get to hang out here, and I really do like it here. I don't need to go anywhere else. It's a beautiful place. I love living in West Michigan. Lake Michigan's right here. I've got sand dunes. I got forest. I've got hills. I don't have any mountains for sure. And then all the great beer you could ever dream of here. We have over 380 breweries in Michigan, and my wife and I have been to over 100 of them. So there you go. There's a quick intro and background and that kind of fun stuff. I used to be an ultra runner too. So there you go. We'll throw that in there.
You fit right in.
Yeah.
And you held up a beer from Big Lake Brewing prior to our whiskey shot.
Yes, which I'm going to take some drink of.
Which beer is that?
Super Ryko. It's the one that I sent to Clint.
So I just took my first drink of that, and I have to be honest, I wasn't sure how much I'd like a rye IPA. This thing is bomb, dude. The Simcoe is flying through it. Tell the brewer, good job. I am so super pleasantly surprised. Like, I took a drink and was like, wow, that is hoppy, like West Coast style. So
that's why I sent that to you. I also sent you that Belgian because that's out of your comfort zone. So, and that's one of our better beers, actually. Belgian Wit. It's a different style. It's something we don't usually. We're actually really an IPA house. We brew a ton of IPAs. We do a lot of hazies, which I know you are not a fan of, Clint. But right now we've done a ton of stouts, which I actually have in this jar here, a maple bourbon barrel aged imperial coconut stout. That's a mouthful. It's like 12%. We did it special for St. Patty's Day. We did 3 special St. Patty's Day beers. We did a ghost pepper breakfast stout, and then we did a ghost pepper coconut stout, and then we did this maple bourbon barrel aged imperial coconut stout, which the name is too damn long, but there you go.
You nailed it both times. I was sitting there thinking, man, can I repeat this
Yeah.
and say maple bourbon barrel aged imperial coconut stout?
Yeah. So the imperial coconut stout is what I sent to you, Jack.
Yeah. So you sent me 2 cans. The Imperial Coconut Stout, 9%.
Yeah.
And then the one I'm drinking tonight is the
Peanut
peanut
butter?
butter. Yeah, the Imperial
Yeah.
Peanut Butter Stout, also 9%.
There you go.
I'm about to have my first sip of it. We were looking at the website for Big Lake Brewery prior to you jumping on, and that Teacher's Pet Dino, the double hazy IPA, it looks like a cool can, but based on everything you're saying about your IPAs, I want to try that.
Yeah, we do some great. I mean, our brewer, I started with Big Lake 2017, 3.5 years ago. I moved here from Arkansas, and basically my wife was like, "Hey, do you want to move to West Michigan?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, let's go." And I worked for a brewery and ran a bar down there. And I was like, I'm sure I can get a job in the beer industry in Michigan. There's so many breweries around. And we kind of looked at different towns. We really liked Holland. So I narrowed it down to that Holland area. And fortunately, the guys at Big Lake were opening a restaurant, pub, brewery all at the same time. And they have been around for 5 years before that and started in their garage and kind of grew their business. And they got to the next step and they needed somebody to run the restaurant. So they hired me to do that, and I've been doing it ever since and really enjoyed it.
The place looks huge. And then I have to say, restaurant wise, so I had my wife and kids. We were all talking about everything on the menu item, and Rebecca was like, let's fly to Michigan. And I was like, hold on, it's got to be football season so we can watch a Lions game. But
Oh yeah,
that menu's amazing.
I was going to say, it's actually, aren't you guys closer to Chicago than to Detroit?
we are equidistant. How about that? It's about 2.5 hours either way. We're kind of right in the middle. It's really kind of nice. Yeah, we can whip over to Chicago and go get some Illuminati's pizza, or we can go over to Detroit and get some Mark's Midtown Coney, or go to a Lions game. Yeah, we're close to a lot of stuff.
So this is a little bit off topic, but what's better, Detroit pizza or Chicago pizza?
Ooh, Detroit style, I like. That's a tough. It depends on what mood you're in. Really, it does. I mean, we like a Detroit style pizza. The cheese goes out. There's like not a crust, and then Chicago style pizza is almost like a pie. Like it's super thick, deep, and has that big crust. And sometimes they even put crust on the top. Chicago's. It just depends on the mood. I mean, I like them both. I mean, we get Detroit style here more often than not. I actually grew up on really shitty Michigan bar pizza, which is super thin crust and really crispy, and then has just like toppings on, like, and they cut it square. They don't cut it the regular triangle way. And that's the kind of pizza I like the best, is super thin crust. So
That makes me think of elementary school, the square pieces of pizza they'd give you that were just absolutely terrible.
oh no, this is the good stuff.
All right.
Get that, get a thin pizza and a Stroh's and you're set. So Jack, what do you think of that peanut butter beer?
It's really good. It's not very peanut butter forward. It tastes more like just a regular stout with a hint of peanut butter. It's not like one of those gimmicky beers that's like peanut butter forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned in your intro that you were a sports photographer and you've been doing running photography for a while. I know I have a couple great images that you took of me. One of my favorite images that you took of me was in Antelope Canyon.
Yeah, I remember it well.
I think that was 2014.
Yeah.
That race alone is one of the most incredible, like most gorgeous races, other than 40 miles of sand. It's a wonderful 50-mile race. You get to see the slot canyons. You get to see the horseshoe bend of the Colorado River. There's just so much to see on that race, and you captured that one great for me.
It was wonderful. Yeah, that was Navajo Point right there where I took your picture at. Yeah, I remember it. So Matt Gunn put on that race, and I sent an email to him like, "Hey, my mom lives out in Arizona. I'm going to be out that way. What if I come out and shoot?" And that's when I was like pretty new at doing sports photography. And I was just like, "Hey, if I come out and shoot this race, you don't have to pay me. I'll just sell the pictures, that I do." And he was like, "Yeah, sure. Come out, hang out." And, remember how windy it was too at night? Oh my God, it was brutal. But yeah, we had a great time. I got to drive my truck all the way to Antelope Canyon, which was the coolest thing because the only people that got to go up there is Navajo when they're, dune buggies and stuff. And I was the only person. It was very eerie being the only person in that canyon before the race, before all you runners came through. It was super dark and the wind was wisping through there. And it was like, this is a little creepy, but it was super cool. I got some great pictures inside the canyon. And then once people made it through there, I drove back out and then hiked out to where you guys came by and tried to get the Colorado River and Navajo Point as much in there as I possibly could. And yeah, that was a blast. That was one of my favorite times going to shoot a race. It was a great time.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Matt Gunn's name, and it's kind of sad. We lost a great one in our community. He put on some great trail races in some places.
Supported his community, yeah.
Yeah, it's sad. He did some great things for our community, and we definitely will miss him for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Well, and you calling him and saying, "Hey, I want to come out," and him saying, "Yeah, absolutely." That's everything I've heard about the guy. I personally don't know him. I know all of you guys that know him and have heard nothing but good things. So that's part of the course.
It was when I heard of his passing, it was very, very sad. And what happened and just the things that he did for the running community and for the Navajo and for everything, that whole area out there, he did so much. And he was a teacher and he was great with kids and everything. And so I guess that goes to show you never know what's going on inside with a person. And like all the social media stuff nowadays, it's like everybody's happy, happy, joy, joy. And you don't know the real demons that everyone has. And that's something that you have to take with a grain of salt. And, I post happy pictures all the time. I don't post any sad pictures. I mean, everybody has the sadness in their life, but you don't know that. And it's such a fake world, for lack of a better term, that, you can make everything look the way you want it. And so you have to always tell somebody that you love them or that they mean something to you or they've taken care of you. Whether they're having a good day or a bad day, that makes a ton for them. And that's what we always have to do for people. And I try and keep that thought, you never know what's going on. I mean, I have 50 employees and each one of them has their own story. And I try and keep up with all of them, but I know what goes on at work, but not everything that goes on at home. And we try not to bring the baggage to work, but sometimes we do. So I try and always make sure I take time to talk to everybody.
And that's what a good boss does. Now, back to your photography. The biggest question I had, August 2019, you took the picture that was seen around the world. I mean, literally, of Zach Bitter breaking the 100-mile record. And so my social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, is 99% runners. And I saw that picture just shared everywhere. And I was like, hey, give photo credit. And I finally gave up. Like, I can't keep up telling people to give photo credit to Jeff Genova. But that was amazing. And then you were on Ultra Runner magazine cover October 2019 for that picture.
Yep. And I actually 5 years before that had taken a picture of him at the Dome in Alaska. And that was, I mean, he missed the record by a very, very slight amount. I think it was like 10 or 11 minutes, but he was very keto, 100%. And he ate a bunch of gummy bears and all that sugar messed his stomach up. And he spent 30 minutes in the bathroom during that race. And that's the only reason he didn't get the record 5 years before, was because he had stomach issues. And he was still out there. There's all these kids and stuff running. The Dome in Alaska is no more. I guess it caved in from snow. But he was running around this dome on this track, which is just like the place in Milwaukee that we ran at. And he was giving high fives and stuff, trying to set the world record for a 100-mile race in under 12 hours. Amazing. He's a great kid.
You remember what the time was?
I enjoy taking this picture. What?
You remember what the time was? He beat it by 9 minutes. It was 11.
He was like 11:34 is what he ended
Something
up
like
the
that,
first
yeah.
time, and then the second time was a little fat, like 11:23.
So he was living here in the Sacramento area for a while, and I actually had a very good time with Zach. Tyler Clemens and I. He was at a race that Tyler and I were at, a camping race, and
Yeah.
I mean, you started laughing as soon as I said me and Tyler together.
Because
And
I know
Zach-
Clemens.
Yeah, Zach, me, and Tyler had a blast, and then so I mean, Zach will have a good time. I mean, he'll do it.
He will. I usually see him when he's pretty serious.
Yeah.
And then when we were at the Pettit Ice Center in Milwaukee, man, he was all business. He was very, very focused, and he was ready to go. And that was probably the more ideal conditions than Alaska, because it was 55 degrees, perfect temperature, no wind. The lights, they kept pretty much just the same. And he nailed it. He was killing it. He was doing a great job. And then when he was about to finish, I think I probably took 100 test photos so I could make sure to get the perfect photo with the lighting and everything to get him. And when I got that picture, I was so happy. It was wonderful. When you get that picture, you just know, I know this is going on the cover of Ultra magazine.
We could have gone a whole lot longer, and
We do get that magic again. It happens every year. What, the third weekend of May?
Because you have a bachelor's in toxicology?
Yeah, I do. Bachelor of Science.
And you're having a beer after a run. So please tell us that a beer is good for you after a strenuous workout.
It is.
I'm taking on my science and nutrition and biochem courses, and I learned about like how good the alcohol moderation is for musculoskeletal health. I'm loving the science behind beer, behind alcohol.
Well, today is the day that I learn if I'm faster than a turkey.
Yeah, around this time last year, I had finally almost achieved beer running group Nirvana.
The first thing out of my mouth was, how do I quit smoking? And do you think I can run 50 miles?
Bye.
Bye.
Nailed it.